You are listening to the Unsoberly Sober Show. I'm your host, Magnify Maggie. This podcast will turn your perception of going sober upside down. We're going to be working from the inside out to get you that dream life. So make sure you stick around for the end of the episode where I'm going to walk you through our weekly positive pursuit exercise to begin rewiring that beautiful mind, baby. Hello, my free and powerful friend. Guess what episode it is? It's episode 21, the big 21. And in my true Unsoberly Sober, ironic fashion, I wanted to use the 21st birthday of the Unsoberly Sober show to celebrate, to really get some high vibes going, but without alcohol. And in lieu of alcohol, we're going to be breaking down motivation. So I want you to remember, as we're going into this, episode 21, come back to this. Those days that feel hard, those days that you just don't want to get out of bed, those days where you know you have personal promises that you want to keep, and for some reason you're just not feeling it. Keep in mind, episode 21, and just keep coming back. Use today's episode as that jolt of energy that you need to remember just how free and powerful and in control you are, how much of a badass you are. Let's get into this. I want to break down what motivation is, because a lot of us are going to sit around and not do much of anything until we feel motivated, until we have a motive to do so, right? But I think in the grand scheme of things, the way our society thinks about motivation leaves us feeling less motivated. Motivation is very fast fleeting. It's something that needs to be built through momentum, and it's not typically something you're going to find by simply sitting down and thinking about being motivated. You've got to actually do. So today we're going to be talking about taking action, why you should take action, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have a little bit of a different energy today because I think there is a valid space for the warmth and the comfort and the positive self-talk of, you know what, it's okay to rest, it's okay to sit. But there are other times where you got to get your shit together, and that sometimes takes a more assertive, masculine, firm energy with yourself. So I'm going to be explaining everything today with that same firm energy because this is your life and you only have one of them. And I'm kind of speaking from some recent experiences, recent loss, recent feelings of heartache. Life is short and your life is so important. You do not want to spend it sitting on the couch wallowing. Things happen in a moment that you cannot predict and you cannot turn back the time. So why not live for the now and be inspired to live it to its fullest? Let's do it. So when we're talking about motivation, remember, motivation is going to be something that you feel in the moment of doing something when you say, what else could I do on top of this? Like I mentioned, it's something that's built through momentum. So it's very hard to go from sitting to then, oh my gosh, I do feel good for this. That's almost like expecting a negative input to just automatically equal a positive output. Every once in a while it can work, right? We can sit on the couch and we can watch videos of people working out and that motivates us to go to the gym. But all in all, for the most part, it's up to you to think in a way that gets you motivated. And just saying, I need to be motivated, you're coming from a place where you're saying my person, my identity, myself right now is not motivated. And so you've got to claim it, but you also need to understand that discipline is the root of motivation because you're not always going to feel like doing the things that you need to be doing, but discipline will get you started. And then that momentum will build and build and build into the motivation. And I think for a lot of people, especially our people who perhaps weren't really taught discipline in a healthy way in childhood experiences, or maybe they don't have a friend group that is super disciplined, so they're conditioned the same way their inner circle is. I think it's really easy to look at discipline and be like, oh, I don't want to live a disciplined life. That sounds hard. That sounds like I would always be mean to myself. But I think that when you're looking at discipline like that, you're looking at it like, I'm going to boot camp and I'm going to be my own drill instructor. But that's not the case. Discipline is simply knowing what is best for you long term and doing the thing right now that's going to lead to that result. So discipline is saying, I know that I don't feel like getting up on my first alarm. I feel like snoozing. But for long term, I'm going to feel so proud of myself if I get up on my first alarm. It's not going to feel good in the moment. You're not going to feel motivated to do it in the moment. But when you do that, then guess what? Then you have this upward spiral that you're building momentum with. And then you say, oh, you know what? Since I got up on my first alarm, I bet that I could spend some extra time outside this morning. I bet that I could make myself a higher protein breakfast. And as you do one thing that's disciplined, you feel the sensation of pride of, wow, I can do hard things. Wow, I can put my mind to something and actually follow through. What else is out there that I've been wanting to put my mind to and I've been failing at following through? You've got to get that taste of that positive snowball effect. Remember that desire is the triggering mechanism to energy. So when you are not feeling motivated, I want you to think about the times when maybe you're sitting on the couch or laying in your bed or you're looking around in the kitchen and you're like, I just don't feel motivated to meal prep. You know, all these little successful habits we talk about. You're just not feeling it, right? I don't have the energy. I'm too tired. I'm sluggish. I need rest. Well, that's likely a product of the way you're thinking about the thing that you're lacking motivation on, right? So if you're not motivated to go to the gym, how are you thinking about going to the gym? Are you thinking about it in a desirable way? Are you saying, yeah, that gym time, it's going to make me feel good. I'm going to know that I followed through on my personal promise. When I walk out of that gym, I'm going to feel like such a badass. Is that the way you're thinking about it? Or here's what I would bet, is that you're thinking the gym, I don't want to do that. An hour at the gym. I have to get up off the couch. I have to put my shoes on. Can't I take a rest day? You're thinking about what you don't desire about the gym. And here is the magnificent part about your brain is that you can choose which aspects you focus on. This is going way back to episode 1, thinking about the magnifying glass. If you are focused on why you don't want to do something, you are never going to find motivation for that. And it's going to be very hard to also follow through with your discipline to do that thing. You have to move that magnifying glass over the reasons why you should, why you want to do it. And this is something that I would say I harp on, but we hone in on with clients and the sober experimenters is, what is your why? What is your overarching big why for why you're changing your life, why you're wanting to do better? It could be, I want extra time with my kids. Literally, I want to live longer. I want extra years on my clock with my family. It could be, I want a positive bill of health from my doctor. These really big overarching moments. I don't want to waste time in my life anymore. I want to savor every present moment. Could be small things. I want to look good in my bikini. I want to feel confident in my bathing suit this summer. I want to feel good going to parties and focusing on the connections rather than the alcohol. These are all things that we want to focus on with our why. And these are the motivating aspects of your habits that you need to focus on. You're going to have a very difficult time clicking into motivation. But you can start to cultivate motivation by thinking of why you want to do something, not why you don't want to do something. If you really consider the moments where you're trying to muster up motivation, don't you feel and sense an overwhelmingly large theme of forcing yourself to do something? When you're forcing yourself to do something, you're coming from a place of, I'm not the type of person that enjoys this, which goes back to identity. So if you don't see yourself as somebody who can go to the gym and have fun and walk out feeling proud, then you're not going to feel very motivated to do that. If you don't see yourself as somebody who has self-control with food, with your diet, with what you consume, what you put inside your body, including alcohol, then you're going to feel like you're forcing yourself to get motivated to do that. And that's when, again, motivation is fleeting. It's about discipline, thinking about why you're doing something in a desirable way. Why do I want this for myself? Not why do I not want this? Why am I running away from, who am I running away from being? But one of the best practices outside of mindset with motivation is to start small and then choose the next highest level of excitement activity. So remember, I've kind of painted that picture of baby stepping it to gain momentum so that you upward spiral into this force to be reckoned with where you're like, unstoppable. Yeah, now I'm going to go hit the gym and then I'm going to make my sales calls and then I'm going to go out to eat and have fun with my family. And you're just motivated and enthused to do all of these aspects in your life. This is kind of a stepping stone, a ladder to go upwards with your momentum. And this is kind of a concept that's pulled from a little bit of theology and spirituality. And that is thinking about your day. Let's say you wake up and you know you've got 18 things on your list of things to do today. You're going to sit there and you're going to think, out of those 18 things that I need to do today, what is the thing that excites me the most? And usually, especially starting off in the day, it's going to be something small, something kind of low energy, but high impact. I gave an example of getting up without your snooze. Another one that I have instilled, and it's just so crazy how much this changes my day, is that my habit of getting out of bed and starting my day before I ever check my phone or look at social media. So I know that might not sound like a thing to do, but that to me is like exciting. Oh yeah, if I'm not going to check my phone, what do I get to do? So that excites me and then I feel proud. So what's kind of low energy, high impact, something that's going to make you feel like an all-star right when you start your day? Is it getting in a cold shower, cold bath if you don't have a cold plunge? Is it going for a 15-minute walk that excites you because you know that's going to make you feel good and it's going to help you feel prioritized for your day? Now, once you accomplish your 1 to 2 low energy, high impact things in the morning, I want you to think about how that would open up your mind to seeing the other things in your day as being accomplishable, as even being something that you're enthusiastic about. Because in order to see yourself as winning the big challenges, you have to give your mind evidence that you've won the small challenges. And if you're just going from no small wins to wanting to win something really high achieving, like going and doing a powerlifting session or, going in and rocking an interview, things like that, you're going to have to figure out a routine to stack wins before you go into that, because mindset is everything. And as you feel like a winner from your stacks of wins, you are going to go into experiences with a high frequency, manifesting high frequency results. So even if you're going into an interview where you're underqualified, but you already did 5 things that were high energy and high impact throughout your day, then you're going to go into that and you're going to have a different impact on the person who's interviewing you. They're going to feel that within you. And it might not have anything to do with your experience, but you're going to be tangibly positive to them. And they're going to say, I want this person on my team. That's just an example of how the wins stack and create an entire different reality for ourselves. If you think about the days where you're in a funk and you're not feeling motivated versus the days where you're like zooming, all cylinders are firing, you've got NOS plugged in, you're going a million miles a minute and you feel good about it. The only difference, it's not necessarily what's going on outside of you. The only difference is how you feel about yourself. And a lot of times, if you backtrack those days where you're just like, I don't feel like doing the things that I should be doing, do you think that it probably has a lot to do with the way you're seeing it, right? You think that, your perspective is going to really impact going into it and whether or not you feel good about it. It's not what happens, but it's how we feel about what happens. So if you can get up in the morning and go without snoozing and do your morning hygiene and listen to your positive audios right there, that's already 3 low energy, high impact wins. That's going to set you up and prime your mind for the positive throughout the day. Now, as you stack those wins, then those bigger things that you've been seeking motivation for are going to become more achievable. I think that it's really important when we look at what the typical day of a person is in 2024, it's really important to look at this and understand this probably would lead to depression, lack of motivation, lack of self-esteem, an identity of a loser, identity of I try, but I can't. This is a typical schedule. Wake up, hit snooze 4 times, stare at your phone, roll out of bed, lethargically make coffee, sit in traffic, 8 hours of unfulfilling work, sit in traffic again, argue with your significant other, walk the pet, if you're lucky, watch TV, pass out, repeat. Living that life, that Groundhog Day over and over and over again should scare the shit out of you. And it should wake you up to the fact that if you're living that way, no wonder you don't feel motivated. Because in this, there are no wins. The only one that I see as a win really is making it to work and walking your pet. Those are pretty little wins compared to the overwhelming lethargy of this lifestyle. I would say dread. And this is very similar to my previous life, the way that I lived. And it's like, well, no wonder I didn't feel like doing anything positive for myself. Because starting from the time I woke up, I was doing negative things for myself. And we know that law of cause and effect, the output is directly correlated and in relation to the input. You're not going to put positive input and get negative output. You're not going to put negative input and get positive output. So think about this schedule. Does your schedule look like this? Wake up, hit snooze 4 times, stare at your phone, roll out of bed, make coffee, sit in traffic. That's just the morning time. Think about your energy, how you feel about yourself when you do that. And then think about what it would be like to wake up, not hit snooze, get out of bed on time, make your bed, have water, have some food, get some steps in, go outside and look at the sun to let your body know, hey, it's time for energy. The sun is up. I need light. Don't we always try to keep things dark in the morning and then we wonder why we're like not a morning person? Well, your body doesn't know that it's morning because you're keeping it dark. So getting outside on the first alarm, getting water, eating food. Think about how that would feel for your day. Then making your coffee. And then I would bet that if you're on your way to work and you're sitting in traffic, you're not going to be like, oh, the world is against me. Why does this always happen? You're going to be like, oh, look at those pretty birds out there. And oh my gosh, I love this song that's playing on the radio. And you're going to be looking around at the people in the cars next to you and be like, ah, I wonder what their life is like. My life is so good. You're going to feel motivated to live life and see things differently. And this all just comes down to things that you are in control of. And you have the discipline to instill in your life. And if you don't have that discipline, know that you are capable of building that discipline. Because that discipline will then lead to motivation. Think about how this person who woke up on time, had sun, got some steps in, water, food, before coffee, and then was stuck in traffic. Think about what their mental environment would be, especially if then they're still, having to go to the gym that night. Wouldn't it feel more accomplishable because they're already riding the high of like, look what I did. Look at all the things that I am capable of. I'm enthusiastic to go to the gym tonight. So that motivation is building up, right? Going to work. You could see it as 8 hours of unfulfilling work, but if you are in a positive mindset and you just won a bunch of challenges that morning, then you're going to go to your 8 hours of work and you're going to be like, you know what? I actually find a little bit of fulfillment here. I'm actually really digging my coworkers today. I'm actually really getting along with my boss. And your entire world shifts, but only because your perceptions of it change. Because you're happy with yourself, you can be happy with your environment. You know the adage of like, you can't love someone else if you don't love yourself? I used to think that was BS because I was like, well, I love myself. But I really didn't love myself, because had I loved myself, I would not continuously induce sickness with alcohol and poison myself. Had I really loved myself, I would not have talked myself out of every big, shiny opportunity that I dreamt of. Had I loved myself, I would have believed in my capabilities instead of believed in my defects. Had I really loved myself, then the people around me would have been able to feel that. But there wasn't any love present for me, so it was very hard to love other people. This is the same thing with other people and how you feel about yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, you're going to feel unhappy with other people. Even if they're saying the nicest thing to you, you're going to be like, "Ugh, what a biatch. They must really mean that I look fat today." Like, you're going to perceive how you are perceiving yourself. And so when you have these wins, when you are disciplined, and then you build that motivation one little win at a time, you're going to perceive your world differently. You're going to perceive your capability of being able to hit the gym differently. And what you're actually going to find is that you stop giving yourself these parameters of your gym time having to look perfect, your morning routine having to look like minute by minute perfection, your nighttime routine having to look a certain type of way or else it's shit. The more disciplined you get, it's actually like the more flexible you get, because you just decide, like, this is going to happen for me sometime throughout the day. I'm going to get this done. This is who I am. I don't skip the gym. I don't rely on motivation to meal prep. I just do those things. And I know that once I do them, I'm going to feel better. But if life is lifing and things start to look a little chaotic and you don't have all of that time to devote to the gym, to meal prep, to grocery shopping, then when you are in those hectic moments, those chaotic moments, your discipline is going to shine through and say, okay, how can I whittle this down to like a skeleton system? I might not be able to meal prep for the whole week tonight, but I can meal prep for tomorrow and Tuesday. I might not be able to go to the gym for an hour, but I could definitely go for an outdoor jog for 15 minutes. Your discipline is going to come through and say, it does not have to be perfect, but just do something. And then when you do that thing, that's when you're going to find motivation. So if you're struggling with motivation right now, make a list. This is your weekly exercise. I have a few more topics to add on before the exercise, so we're not closing out quite yet, but I want to walk you through this exercise. Give yourself a list of 3 things that you know, 3 personal promises that you know that are going to make you feel motivated to do the next thing. And so for me, these 3 things, if I'm feeling funky, if I'm like, I need to be motivated, but I'm not, I can't force myself into it right now, these are the 3 things I do. I go for a walk, I go for a bike ride, or I will lay a towel down on the concrete outside with the sun over me, and I will just lay there. I will lay on the ground. If I feel like it, I can put my towel in the grass, ground myself. This is something that's really low energy, but will also kind of wake me up and energize me with the fresh air and being outside and having the wind and the sun on my face. It's something that's like, wow, you know what? Looking up at the sky, whatever is making me feel like what I need to do today is undesirable, now actually feels really easy, because I'm looking up at the sky. This is actually a physiological effect that you have. When your retinas get hit with that light and you see the big vast sky, your brain can actually detach from overwhelm. And whatever was keeping you from feeling motivated to go to the gym or to do your meal prep or make that phone call that you've been putting off, whatever this thing is, these things that we do in the space of drinking, instead of drinking, we do these positive things. Whatever was holding you back from that, as you're laying down and you're looking up at the sky, this is my experience at least, you're like, okay, actually going to the gym, I'm pretty lucky to be able to do that. I'm pretty lucky that this crazy rock that's spinning around our universe, around our sun, has like weird, crazy stuff like a building with machinery in it and air conditioning, and I can just go there and work my body. What? Okay, now I'm motivated. So these are little things. And again, the third is very low energy. It's something that I really promote as like the most passive self-love you can give to yourself. These are just little things that when I'm not feeling good, they're low friction enough that it's easy for me to get started. And my discipline can get me started on that, knowing that once I do this thing, once I go for my bike ride around my neighborhood, it takes like 15 minutes to get around my neighborhood. I'm going to feel like going to the gym. I'm going to feel like drinking my water. I'm going to feel like calling and having that hard conversation because I've detached from whatever emotions were holding me back. And I've instilled gratitude, a sense of accomplishment, self-esteem, and dang, I do what I say I'm going to do. Every time I say that, I mess that up. I always do what I say I'm going to do, right? And it's like so powerful when you have that feeling. I think so many people in this world have normalized not having that feeling, that they don't know what it is like to be like, I can trust myself that when I say I'm going to do something, I actually do it. Wow. I trust that this weekend is going to go how I say it's going to go. I trust that my vacation is going to go how I say it's going to go. I now know what my future holds because I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. That builds more discipline, and can I tell you how much motivation it builds? Because you realize that your potential really is limitless. And you're like, screw the narrative of me not being good enough. Screw the narrative of me not having energy to do this. Screw the narrative of my past is so horrible that there's no point in trying for the future. All of that, throw it all to the wind and just go do it. You only have one life to live. And if you sit on your couch and you think and you wish and you hope that you could do all of these things, guess what's going to happen? 10, 20, 30 years down the line, you're going to look back and be like, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have thought I was so tired all the time. And I would have just gotten up and done the thing that I needed to do. I wasted a lot of my life. Remember that it's not what you do 9 to 5 that makes your life high quality. It's not your job Monday through Friday. Always. It is going to be important to have something aligned. Your job should be fulfilling in some aspect. You should be able to figure out a perspective that makes you feel grateful for your daily work. But your life is not what happens 9 to 5. It's what happens 5 to 9. 5 to 9 a.m., 5 to 9 p.m. What do you do outside of your work to make you know, make you believe that you are disciplined? Because the discipline then leads to motivation. Stop looking for motivation out of thin air. Start focusing on discipline, getting a morning routine, setting a nighttime routine, doing something that really makes you feel like a winner from 5 to 9 a.m. and something that really makes you feel like a winner 5 to 9 p.m. What are those things? Those things need to be set in stone, staples for your life, because that's what's going to dictate if you feel good about yourself. If on your way to work, you're thinking about how much it sucks that you're stuck in traffic, or if on your way to work, you're thinking about the beautiful song that the birds are singing while you're sitting in traffic, about thinking about how beautiful your life is, that the fact that you own a car, what is this little thing that has wheels that I can carry myself around the world in? This is bonkers. When you can shift your perspective, you start to see that discipline actually is self-love. Long term, you're taking care of yourself. You are not a boot camp drill instructor. You're taking care of yourself so that then you build motivation to do the things that you need to do the things that you want to do, and stop thinking about things in the lens of, oh, that would suck so bad. I'm not the type of person that can do that. Yes, you are. You are a magical freaking creature. And you can do anything. The problem is you keep getting in your own way by thinking about why you don't want to do it. There's just as many reasons why you do want to do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep thinking about it. You're just using the I don't want to do it to stay in your comfort zone because it's comfortable. But you're going to die there. And then you're going to die with a bunch of regret. So why not just shift into thinking about everything that you need to do in a way of, how could I be excited about this? What's the next most exciting thing on my list that I could do, that I can plug into, that's going to build that positive snowball effect of momentum? What's the next thing? Because as you feel better, do the next most exciting thing, that is going to inspire you and motivate you to do things that you might have never even thought that you were capable of. You're going to be like, wow, my potential is literally limitless and I can go after anything I want. And the only thing stopping me is my own perception. All right, enough of my BS. I'm doing it. I am going for my walk. I'm going for my workout. I'm putting on that meditation so that I can ground myself, and then I'll get excited and I'll build that motivation for my day. But if you sit around waiting and wishing and hoping for motivation, it will not come. You want motivation because you want to feel better. You want to stop thinking about how hard everything will be. Motivation is only cultivated by you. So that comes from a shift in perspective. Stay tuned also for next week's episode, because we're going to be talking about emotional regulation in a way that really emphasizes and explains the power of perception and perspective. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I just don't know how. I just don't know how to shift my perspective. What does she even mean? Then make sure you understand we got kind of the next level episode to carry through that message. But, in closing, remember your schedule, your daily tasks, the way you think about your daily tasks are going to dictate whether or not you feel motivated. And motivation is very hard to spark out of nothing, out of thin air. So pick your 3 exercises, your 3 low energy, high impact things that you can talk yourself into in bed when you're just waking up. Maybe it's, I can sit on the floor and do a good stretch routine. I can go outside and stretch while I look up at the sun. I can go for a 15-minute mindset walk. Whatever those 3 things are, write them out, decide how you're going to do them, what they look like, what are things that you might need. Maybe you need to set up a yoga mat next to your bed so that you can do the morning stretch or morning workout. What are the things that you need? Get specific so that you create that blueprint for your mind so that when you wake up, you already know what you're going to do to be disciplined. Remember affirmations like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm disciplined and I feel motivated. I'm so happy and grateful now that I think about things in a desirable way so that I am motivated to do so. I'm so happy and grateful for this crazy life that I can live, that I have the gift of having here, so that you feel motivated. So remember your affirmations, remember the exercise. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I want to hear your 3 activities and I want to hear how they're going. So YouTube, comment in the on this video. Let me know what you're going to work on, which 3 activities you picked out. And then if you're listening, then email me. Feel free to DM me on Instagram, reach out on Facebook, any of the above, and check out the description because there's a link there that if you need help solidifying discipline, maybe you need that accountability. A lot of us do. There's no shame in that. Need that accountability to start. I am here for you. Every topic that we touch on is really just skimming the surface. So I want to go in depth and tailor these topics to you and your life through the Magnify coaching system. So if that sounds like something you need in your life, then please, please, please reach out. And in the meantime, remember, you are a free and powerful, magical creature. Think different in order to drink different, or never again. It means the entire world to me that you have been here with me, letting me share my experiences and hopefully helping open your eyes to a bright, beautiful life ahead of you as well. So if you are loving this show, please, please, please subscribe, like, comment, and especially share this with somebody that might be in need. Please help get the word out. Word of mouth is so important. And I know that you're somebody special who can help me in this mission for thinking differently in order to drink differently or never again. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions you want discussed on the podcast. I'm here for it. So I'll talk to you soon. Signing out, Magnify Maggie.